We have an Olympian.
Like an actual Olympian that just competed in the Paris Olympics.
Like very dissociated, like I don't know where I am, I can't remember anything. It was getting increasingly worse. So we pulled over and I took out my Auvi-Q and I just gave it to myself. I was really struggling in the gym for the next few days, but I really wanted to compete. It's been something that, I've been working for so long, and I wasn't about to let, my allergy define me and let it, take away this opportunity from me.
Hi, hello, and welcome to EpiPod. Sarah is a mom to 2 little boys with food allergies.
And Danielle has navigated life-threatening allergies her entire life.
Living with an invisible health condition is so isolating.
The fear and the anxiety.
Trying to cover it up so you don't affect anybody else.
Especially your kids. Sound familiar?
Join us on the couch and take a load off with people who just get it.
We're so glad you're here. Welcome back to EpiPod.
Presented by Larissa's Kitchen. Hey, Sarah.
Hey, Danielle. I'm so excited about today's episode.
I'm so excited too. We're just going to go ahead and skip our little intro debrief catch up because we have an Olympian.
Like an actual Olympian that just competed in the Paris Olympics.
Yes. Her name is Levi Jung-Ruivivar. She is a American gymnast who's born and raised in Los Angeles, California, but she moved to Plano to train with the Lutkins.
Yes.
And she is an Olympic gymnast. She competed for the Philippines.
Yes, in the
Paris.
Olympics. But before that, she's been in the U.S. World competitions, right?
Yeah, she's been...
Or on the U.S. team in the World's competitions.
Yes, she's been doing gymnastics since she was
T9C.
Not even a toddler. She was baby, which is so crazy. Instead of just going to a park, apparently her mom's friend, I was reading on an interview online, her mom's friend was like, why don't we take him to this intro to gymnastics? And she just loved it so much. She kept asking to go back and back.
Yeah. And while we would love to have every Olympian on EpiPod, the reason that we're so excited to have her here is because she has lived her whole life with a tree nut allergy and has obviously not let it stop her at all.
Yeah.
And also had a scary allergy-related incident in the Olympic Village. So we're going to ask her all about that as well.
She's open to talking about having to go to the ER because of anaphylaxis while in Paris previous to her competing, which is crazy. That happening the week that your whole life's goal up until now is happening, and for that to happen.
Yeah, it just must have been such a roller coaster of emotions. I can't even imagine. Yeah. So we're looking forward to asking her some questions right now. Yeah,
we're going to dive into that. And also she went around grocery stores. She went to different Parisian bakeries and ate all different kinds of pastries with an anaphylactic tree nut allergy. So I'm really excited to hear, how did you do that? And just sort of what advice she has for, kids who have Olympic dreams and maybe have a health condition that is also they're having to manage, but also for big kids like me who... after having a severe allergic reaction, it can really
knock you down.
Mentally change things. So I'm so excited to chat with her.
Let's bring her on.
She's on the waiting room. Let's.
Okay. All right. Now it's time to tell you a little bit about our presenting sponsor, LK Meat Snacks. Larissa, the founder, has a mission that's simple but strong: to provide you with meat snacks certified free from the top 9 allergens. All products are made with 0 sugar and either grass-fed and finished beef or free-range chicken or turkey that taste awesome.
With her own family that lives with food allergies, it's extremely personal for her, and she ensures that the product has intense quality control processes, rigorous certifications, and a top-notch food advisory board, so you can have confidence in what you're eating. If you want flavor without fear, grab some LK Meat Snacks and snack fearlessly at Amazon or larissaskitchen.com. That's LORISSAS kitchen.com. And if you use our code, it's 15% off at checkout.
Yep, just type in EpiPod.
Yay! Hi, Levi.
Hey, Levi. We're so excited to have you. We have been huge Olympics fans this time around, and so we're like, wait a second, we're talking to an Olympian. This is crazy. First of all, how does it
was
feel
so
to be called an Olympian? Like to know that you've competed in the Olympics?
It's pretty surreal. Every time that someone like calls me an Olympian or like, oh my gosh, I'm talking to an Olympian right now, or hey, Olympian, like it feels really weird, but I think it's just still like settling in that I was just at the Olympics, like competing with other Olympians, and I got like that opportunity. It's just like I've been trying to go to the Olympics, and it's been my dream since I was like 7 years old. So the fact that I like achieved that dream, I think, is just not hitting me yet.
To jump right in, Levi, if you're comfortable, can you tell us a little bit about that day and like what happened, how you were feeling? I mean, the fact that you're in Paris at the Olympics and
fulfilling your lifetime dream.
Yeah. And then you realize, wait, something's not right. Take us back to that day, if you don't mind.
Oh, it was so stressful. I'm not going to lie. Like everything about it was just not the best experience for me. I'm so grateful that I had the Auvi-Q with me because I always carry an EpiPen with me. I have like a purse that I carry it in, and then I also carry it in my gym bag. I always give one to my coaches or like whoever that I'm like working with, or I also always like inform my friends or like family when I go over to someone's house that like I have a tree nut allergy and it's like very severe. And a lot of people like just kind of brush it off like sometimes. They're just like, oh, okay, like what, but it was Monday before and I competed Sunday that week, and so I was walking around the Olympic Village and FaceTiming some of my friends and family and showing them around. They have like little bikes around the Olympic Village, so I was like biking around, and then I parked my bike and I was walking back to my room because it was like getting close for me to go to bed and I needed to get some rest before training the next day. And I started having like a little bit of a stuffy nose, and I was on call with my mom. She's like, "Are you okay? Like, you have a little bit of a stuffy nose. Are you getting sick?" And I was like, "No, I think I'm fine. Like, I think it's just something in the air, like maybe that was like made me a little bit stuffy." But then as I started like walking more, I felt like my lips started tingling a little bit. My breathing kind of started getting a little bit heavy, and I thought, like, again, maybe I just need to rest. Like, maybe this is just some sort of seasonal allergy.
Like
And
a
I just need to get
panic.
inside,
That's what
lay
I would
down.
think. Like anxiety.
Yeah, anxiety. I mean, it started to feel a little bit anxiety. Like, I didn't feel a lot of anxiety until I got into my room and I went to look at myself in the mirror, and my face was so swollen. My lips were, it looked like I got a lip job, like a really bad lip job. And I started freaking out because I was like, what is going on? Like, I had a feeling at that point that it was allergies. But for me, usually, like, I notice if I eat something that has tree nuts in it, I notice within like 30 seconds that I start to have a reaction to it. Like, my throat starts to get, I'm sure you guys know, like your throat starts to get tingly and like itchy, and then, you can feel like on your lips, and sometimes you get nauseous. None of that happened to me, which is like why I was so confused. I hadn't eaten in 3 hours.
Wow.
So I was like concerned as to what caused the reaction, and I'm still a little bit unaware of what exactly happened. My thought is that there was no soaps like in any of the athletes' rooms. They didn't provide soap. So I assumed that like someone had touched something that had nuts in it, and then was like, maybe I touched the bike handles or something that had nuts, and then I touched my face, and then it started, like, I don't know though. I don't know how that would cause such a severe reaction. But anyway, back to this. I I literally laid down on the bathroom floor because I was having such a severe reaction. And I fixed up my mom, and I was like, "Mom, I think I'm having an allergic reaction." And she was like, "You need to go to the hospital right now. Go get your teammate." So I went to go get my teammate, and she like looked at me and was like, "Are you okay?" I was like, "No, I think I'm having an allergic reaction. We need to find, the medical clinic right now in the Olympic Village." So she's like, "Okay, let's go." And mom was like, "Don't forget to bring your EpiPen just in case. Like, I'm sure they'll give you one, like, and they'll help you when you get to the emergency room, but just take it just in case." So I grabbed my EpiPen, and there's these little shuttles around the Olympic Village. that kind of can take you anywhere in the Olympic Village. So we got on the first one that we saw, and we're like, this is a medical emergency. We need to get to the polyclinic right now. And they're like, okay, we'll take you there. And they're going so slow.
Oh.
And we were like, can you please hurry up? Like, this is like, my allergy was getting worse. I was having a really, really, really hard time breathing. My chest was itchy. My head was actually really itchy. Like, I could feel like I had hives like on my head. My fingers were swollen. And it was getting like increasingly worse. Like, every second it was like, you guys know, like, allergies can kind of go from 0 to 100 so quick. So we were like, can you hurry up? And they were like, no, I can't. I can only go like 15 miles an hour. And we're like, okay, that's fine. But anyway, so then along the way too, the person kept stopping to pick up other athletes and like,
oh my God.
Clearly
and,
did
like,
not know what was going on.
I know. I was like, I'm having severe allergic reaction. My teammate was like, she's having a severe allergic reaction. You guys need to get her to the hospital right now. And then finally we get to the area where the hospital is. And he's like, okay, it's somewhere in this area. Like, I think it's over there. And so we're like, okay, let's go. And they start to walk, like, we start walking in the direction of the polyclinic. And then we can't find where it is because there's no signs. It was like in the middle of the night. There was no one directing us. And so then we're like walking around and we end up in this like place and they're like, oh, this is like the emergency station. What's going on? And my teammate was like, she's having an allergic reaction. But we need to get to the emergency room right now. Do you know where that is? And she's I'm not really sure, but we can call someone and try to find out.
Oh my God.
I was like, guys, like, I'm actually like on my deathbed right now. We need to get to the emergency room now. Again, then they were calling. I was waiting 10 minutes, nothing. We weren't hearing back. And finally, my teammate was like, okay, well, they're not helping us, so we need to go try to find it ourselves. Then we take another shuttle down more, and they're like, oh, it's over here. They drop us off. Again, we don't know where it is. And so we just like were sent on a wild goose chase. And I was on FaceTime with my mom the whole time. And finally, at some point, I was like, I really am feeling so awful right now. I'm scared that if I don't take my EpiPen right now, something bad's going to happen. I'm like very dissociated. Like, I don't know where I am. I can't remember anything. It was getting increasingly worse. So we pulled over and I took out my Auvi-Q and I just gave it to myself. And there's actually a recording of it because my parents were like recording it through FaceTime just in case something happened. And I'm like, I'm scared. And my teammate Aaliyah was like, it's okay. Like, you got this. So then I gave it to myself. And within like 10 minutes, I started feeling a lot better. It is pretty crazy how much it helps. Mm-hmm. And I'm so grateful that I had it with me because who knows what would have happened. Anyway, continuing on this crazy night experience I had, then we were taken again to on another shuttle, which took us to the opposite side of the Olympic Village. And they're like, oh, here's the first aid center. We go there. They're like, oh, sorry, it's actually closed. There's no one in there, so we can't help you. Then we go like somewhere, and I finally like see my coach, who was also staying in the Olympic Village. And he's like, what's going on? I'm like, again, I'm having an allergic reaction. He's like, okay, let's call security. So then we call security, and everyone just speaks French. And they're asking me what's going on. And they're like, what's wrong with you? And I was like, I'm having an allergic reaction. They're like, peanuts? And I was like, no, I'm allergic to peanuts, not peanuts. And they're like, not really understanding what was going on because like Europe, and I don't think people in Europe understand allergies as well. And then there's like all these people and no one can direct us to the emergency room. And then finally we get on another shuttle that takes us to the emergency room. They help walk me in there. I with a doctor, and they give me the proper like medical attention that I need and proper medication. And, you know, they give me some medication that makes me really, really drowsy. And then after all of that, then I go in an ambulance like back to my room, and and then I go to sleep. I wake up the next morning. I go back to the hospital. They give me a steroid pack, and then I start on that plus antihistamines. And then I take that day to rest because my body feels so wiped out from such a severe allergic reaction. And then the next day I was back in the gym trying to do as much as I could. But I would say it was like, not only was that experience like really scary and really difficult, but it was just at such an awful time too. And my body was having a really difficult time recovering. Last time I had an allergic reaction that I needed my EpiPen, I was out of the gym for 2 weeks after that because of how tired I was and how wiped out my body felt. And that was like when I was, I want to say 10 years old. And I've only had to use it one other time. So I was really struggling in the gym for the next few days, but I really wanted to compete. It's been something that, you know, I've been working for so long, and I wasn't about to let, like, you know, my allergy define me and like let it, you know, take away this opportunity from me. So I ended up, you know, going to podium training, and then I was asked by interviewers, like, what's going on? You just don't seem like yourself. And then I told them that I had a severe allergic reaction. And anyway, finally towards the end, I was able to kind of, my body started to recover a little bit, gain back my strength, and I was able to compete. But I think like my main takeaway was that I wanted to share like this story with as many people as possible, because I think that allergies like should be like, people should be more aware of what allergies are, how severe they are, how dangerous they are, and then also like feel how much of a lasting effect they have on your body after the reaction. And then also it was quite like, I know everyone was trying their best in the Olympic Village, and everyone was trying to, you know, help me, which was very sweet. It was just a little bit scary how it took, and I think it took a little bit over an hour for me since we left our room to find the emergency room. Over an hour. And the Olympic Village isn't that big. So it really should have taken like 5-10 minutes maximum. So I think those were like the main takeaways I had. But anyway, that's the story of what happened.
Levi, I'm so glad that you're okay, because as somebody who lives with allergies, like that's the worst case scenario. Like that is when you're like, oh, well, what's the worst that can happen? It's like that, like at every turn, it wasn't just like you had an allergic reaction. It was like, it's unknown. You don't know necessarily even now exactly why or what it is you ate or why it was such a delayed reaction. And then it's like not being able to get to the emergency services, the language barrier, them not understanding you. May I ask, why did you go back to the hospital the second day? Like, how come you just didn't stay there overnight?
I don't know, actually. Like, looking back at it, I think I should have stayed overnight.
To be like supervised.
To get supervised. But the doctor and everyone was like, oh, you can just go back to your room.
Wow.
Which again, when looking back at it, I don't think I was in like the proper condition to go back to my room and be unsupervised for the rest of the night. Especially because I know that like sometimes you can have like a second wave of like an allergic reaction, or I was also under, you know, I had a lot of medication in my system. I was very tired. I still had, you know, swollen fingers and swollen lips, and my breathing was still a little bit not under full control. Wow. So looking back at it, I think it would have been a better idea for me to stay in the hospital overnight, but I was told that I should just go back to my room and sleep. So
yeah, Levi, I mean, two things. One, like Danielle said, I'm so happy that you're okay. But as a mom, like my boys are little, but I mean, I'm just so proud of you. And I know that your mom is too. And I know the fear she must have had on that FaceTime call when she was talking to you. I'm just putting myself in her shoes, and it like rocks me to my core thinking about it. Not being there to help you must have been so hard for her. But the fact that you really did, in, like she said, the worst kind of scenario, like not getting the help you needed, you figured it out on your own. You saved your own life. And I think that is just amazing and a testament to like who you are as a person. And so I'm just so grateful that you have some sort of platform now after, you know, especially being in the Olympics, to share that story and to share, the power of trusting your gut and using that emergency medication, and really advocating for yourself and your health.
Have you spoken to your allergist since the episode to see like if they have had any thoughts of like a delayed reaction or like touching by candles, like you said, like how could that have caused such a severe allergic reaction? Like, have you spoken to your provider and have they been able to have any sort of insight, like maybe developing a new allergy or I don't know, some other sort of allergic condition?
I haven't talked to my allergist specifically. I talked to my pediatrician about it, and she said it most likely was a delayed reaction for something that I ate, and that that it also had to do with like how nothing was like cleaned or something. Also, she mentioned something that I could understand is that I was under a lot of stress and a lot of pressure at the Olympics.
Yeah.
That added stress and pressure already like leaves your body feeling like a little bit more worn down from all of that, so you're more susceptible to have a stronger reaction to like something that's going on with your allergy, which I could definitely understand. But I really do want to go ask like my allergist about it, because it was a little bit scary and concerning that I still am a little bit unsure exactly like what was going on in that instance, so that I can prevent it in the future.
I was looking
because like living with that now, I'm like, how do I know it's not going to happen again?
Totally the unknown is what's always, I feel like, as the person with the allergy, the scariest, like not knowing. I had a reaction actually in France as well, not nearly as severe, but I to this day have no idea what it was. I thought it was almond or hazelnut this whole time, and then I since have passed those in food challenges, and I think about it probably at least once a week. And it was 5 years ago where I'm like, well, then what was it? And I was looking at your comments on your TikTok and Reels, and people were trying to be helpful, throwing out like Macus or whatever. I hadn't even heard of that. Like all of these different ideas, which I feel like as somebody who is addicted to the internet and is always online, like comments can be really helpful in me asking my allergist questions, but they can also give me like whole new other fears. So I lived for your social media coverage, like all of like seeing the chocolate muffins, seeing you try bakeries, like walking around Paris, showing inside the Olympic Village, the interactive things that they had for you guys. Like it was so cool. Can you talk a little bit about social media, whether allergies or not, but like how it's helpful or not helpful, how it sort of like played into a role? Because just like not allergy related, seeing that side of the Olympics was so cool. But then I really applaud you, like you were saying, wanting to tell as many people as possible about this to raise awareness about the severity and educate people about what food allergies are. I think it's so brave because reliving it can be really hard.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was. And especially, I think I wasn't sure if I was going to tell people about the allergy like before I competed, just because I was already under like a very, intense, I was focusing on recovering. I was also focused on like training and just everything that was going on. But I'm really, really happy that I did choose to tell people about it because, again, like I did think it was super important. Social media, I was like you're saying about the comments, I was reading through a lot of comments, and I learned a lot actually from what people were saying. And it was also really nice to connect with like other people who have allergies or have, children who have allergies. And I think that me like sharing my story was a way for me to do that. And I'm hopeful that I can continue to do that. Like there were so much information that I got from the comments. So I was, very appreciative that so many people like share their knowledge with me. And like, again, like I know that still I have to be hesitant because you never know like what's true and what's not.
Totally.
Like, if you're not a professional. But it was still really nice to be able to read all of that. Yeah. And then in terms of like all the other media coverage that I did, I think it was really fun to just like share with everyone because, only athletes and specific coaches were allowed in the Olympic Village. And there's so many people around the world that are excited about the Olympics. And so just to give them like little nuggets of like what, a day in the life is like actually in the Olympic Village, because I was excited about it and I wanted other people to be able to like share in my excitement. And then also I think it was fun because it kind of forced me to go out and explore the Olympic Village.
Mm-hmm.
Like I think if I wasn't doing social media, I wouldn't have found out about the baking classes or about, all these little coffee shops, or there's like a postal office, and there's just like so many different opportunities for athletes to go like explore in the Olympic Village. And I think through me like blogging that and sharing it with everyone, it kind of made it more fun for me because I was able to go do those things as well.
Totally. Like a little incentive, like,
Yeah.
okay,
Yeah.
I whatever, could be doing this, but like, I'm going to go take full advantage because I want to
Yeah.
show people like what was created for us. That's awesome. I love that.
When you have allergies, it does limit you to some extent, right? You can't just like go in and order anything. You have to ask a lot of questions. So like when you're in a different country and around maybe different types of food or pastries that like aren't common in the US, what would you tell somebody who is going to have an experience or a vacation even somewhere else that has food allergies? Like what gives you that confidence to not just hunker down in your hotel and be afraid of living and experiencing things? Like what makes you feel empowered to go out and live this like big, wonderful life?
Yeah, I think it's definitely like, I know that allergies are super scary and super dangerous, but I think knowing that there's ways for me to prevent, having an allergic reaction, and there's also, if I do happen to have an allergic reaction, I have the support. I have an Auvi-Q. I have my family. I can get medical attention that I need. Definitely helps. But then I always I'm more focused on the preventative. I always carry my EpiPen with me, like 100% of the time, anywhere I go, especially if I'm, going somewhere and eating. And then on top of that, when I travel internationally, there's a few things that me and my family can do. My little brother, his name is Kale, also has food allergies. He's allergic to peanuts and tree nuts. I'm allergic to tree nuts, but not peanuts.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, my family and I, we carry, when we go international, like a little bracelet that says like nut allergy. You could actually like print that out in English and in the language of the country that you're going to. There's also like little like cards that I bring, keep in my wallet,
Mm-hmm.
that like have that have the, again, in English and then in the language of the country, tree nut allergy, and then they have like a nut in the center and then like a little like X out sign.
Cool.
And so if I show that to people at like restaurants or like at pastry shops or like wherever I'm going to eat something, if I show that to them, and like even if there is a language barrier, like 99% of the time, like they're very understanding and they're able to like accommodate my needs. So I think that having those things, and definitely like learning how to at least say like your allergy in the language of the country that you're going to, is like really important.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's great advice.
I lived for your tour de bakeries. Like it looked like you were just hopping around to different bakeries and you were like, I'm going to be dreaming of this pastry. With a tree nut allergy, like do you avoid things that have cross contamination, or like did you specifically find tree nut allergy friendly bakeries in Paris?
For me, I try to avoid cross contamination as much as possible. The bakeries that I was going to did have tree nuts in them, but when we let them know of my tree nut allergy, we asked them to like either clean the utensils that you're using to pick up the pastry, or I also try to pick items that are like further away from any of the items that have nuts in them.
Mm-hmm.
I know that like might not make a huge difference, but it limits like the fact that if one is like, if something with tree nuts is like touching another food that has tree nuts doesn't have tree nuts in it, and I want that thing, like I'm gonna buy it because it's so close and I'm scared of cross contamination.
I think it's so inspiring. Like as somebody, I'm 32, and as somebody who has had a severe reaction that honestly, it was like a before and after event for me. So really seeing you have this experience, sharing it, then competing, and then continue to be in Paris and explore and not let it stop you it gives me full body chills just like saying that. Like, you have been such an inspiration to me personally, and I know a lot of people in the food allergy community feel similarly.
My, little boys, they're starting in sports, soccer. I'm not sure they're going to be Olympic gymnasts or, Olympians at all. But I do always wish for them to never let allergies hold them back. And to see someone like you who's lived her whole life with these anaphylactic food allergies and then go on to do what you've done, it really means a lot to me as a mom. What would you tell young people who have a food allergy and feel like it makes them different or makes them other or it holds them back from life? How would you talk to them about, no, you can still chase your dreams. You can do whatever you want. What message do you have for them?
I guess I would say that I think a lot of people, or at least I used to struggle thinking that like I was a little bit ashamed of my food allergy. I thought it made me like a little bit weaker. Like I felt a little bit like an outsider, but I think that's actually not true. I think that having a food allergy, if anything, like it makes you stronger. Like we have to, be on our game like a lot. We have to be concentrated on, what's in our food and our surroundings. And I think that just takes like an extra step and an extra awareness. And if anything, I think that is something that we can use to our advantage in life. And it actually is like a strength. And then on top of that, I think that we all showcase a lot of resilience and a lot of grit. And it takes an extra special person to be able to walk through life and like not be defined by, this thing that you live with, and know that it's going to be there always, but that it shouldn't stop you from like pursuing your dreams, your goals, your aspirations. And I think that living with an allergy is something that, yes, can be hard at times, but it's also something that like, is just, part of who you are. And I think it also like makes you special and unique. And I would definitely say that there's so many like medical things in this day and age that can help you in case of an emergency. Like they even just came out with that new like nasal spray. And I know that like as time goes by, they'll continue to get better at it. And I think that if you don't like live your life to the fullest, then you're going to regret that more. And you're going to be, not as happy in life as it, instead of like it, and trying to get out my words here. If you don't go live your life to the fullest and you let your allergy define you, then it's actually causing you more harm than I think it would if you had a minor reaction to something. So I guess my thing is go like live your life to the fullest and dream big, because I think that having an allergy is amazing. And I think that, yes, is a little bit scary at times, but it's also like just something that I'm, it makes me who I am. So, yeah.
Oh, what a beautiful
I'm
response.
like trying to not cry.
No, you said it perfectly, and I'm going to play that for my little boys, especially my 6-year-old, because I just think it's incredibly inspiring as a mom to food allergy littles, but also, for them.
I'm certainly not a little, and I needed to hear that, so thank you.
Oh.
Yeah. Well, Levi, thank you so much for your time. You are an inspiration, and I'm so thankful.
Well, yes, and we're so thrilled that we got to speak. I think you're the first ever Olympian I've
ever spoken
to. So thank you so much for sharing your story. I know sometimes that can be difficult, but I think, we hope that this reaches a lot of people and helps a lot of people. So thank you for taking the time.
Thank you so much, guys. I truly appreciate it. And I appreciate what you guys are doing, too, talking about allergies and spreading awareness and just also all the amazing things. And good luck to your children.
Thanks.
I hope that they are amazing soccer players.
that they go in the correct direction in the
That's
game.
right. Hey, who knows? Wouldn't that be so cool if we like saved this clip and then in, I don't know, 12 years or so, we're like, and then he was an Olympic soccer player and Levi predicted it.
Yes.
It's so funny.
Levi,
Levi, okay, have a great gym. You are my superhero. You're the best.
Thank you guys.
I'm obsessed with her.
She's your new best friend and mine. And I mean it when I say I'm going to show that last little clip to Graham. I mean, I think Ethan's a little young yet to kind of fully understand that, but I think I'm going to show him some of her routines and things and be like, hey, she has a tree nut allergy too. Like listen to what she had to say.
Yeah.
Because I just think even at this young of an age, it's really impactful to hear words like that.
No,
to see somebody do the biggest, craziest, most amazing thing despite this health condition.
No, I literally was crying. I was like, hold it together. You can cry in front of Sarah and you can cry in front of the EpiPod folks, but like hold it together for Levi. And I just couldn't because I really needed to hear those words too. Yeah. And it's one thing for people who don't know the life that you have to live for your whole life for this to be this extra weight that you carry, to say like, it makes you and it makes you stronger and you have so much resilience. But to hear it from somebody who knows firsthand and who is so fresh off of what could have been a grave situation.
Absolutely.
It really does mean the world. I have to stop talking. I'm going to start.
Well, we hope you enjoyed that interview. I know I did. Yes. And really, we've said it like 14 times, but like inspiration. It's just like that word keeps coming back.
If you guys don't follow Levi on Instagram and on TikTok, you need to go to the show notes right now. And we're going to link it there because she really did vlog her whole experience. Like I was saying, from bakeries to French grocery stores, like trying all different kinds of new brands and products. I was like, what a brave girl. To just like the things that only Olympians would ever see or have access to. Yeah. And she gives us a front row seat to that. So her videos, I mean, she has tons and tons of videos on it. And they all happened before and after her run-in with anaphylaxis, and thank goodness for the Auvi-Q and that it worked the way that it should have.
Yeah.
I feel like a lot of news stories this past year have been saying like, and the EpiPen didn't work. Yeah. And that's really weighed so heavily on me and has really made treatment and doing OIT a lot harder for me. And so I think it's really healing and it's really necessary to hear the majority of the stories, which are the Auvi-Q did work.
Right.
And like,
because that really is like 99% of the time, it does the job. I mean, it is designed to bring you out of anaphylaxis and calm your immune system.
Yeah.
I mean,
just hearing the opposite and hearing and seeing how joyful and how resilient and how beautifully she did in her performance. Yeah. Okay. So click on her socials and enjoy it's almost like documentary of the Olympics. Like if you're going through Olympics withdrawals, like I am, there's a whole lot of Levi content for you that's definitely going to be entertaining.
Yeah. We'll link it in the show notes
too. Okay. Well, let's jump into questions.
Let's do it. These question and answers are brought to you by Inchbug, a waterproof personalized name label company for kids. You already know how much we love their labels for keeping water bottles and lunch containers clearly labeled for school, but
Inchbug is currently giving our listeners 30% off of their allergy bag tags on Amazon. Find the link in our show notes and get personalizing. How do I deal with the disappointment of my sibling choosing a brewery as their wedding venue when my 3-year-old is anaphylactic to wheat, rye, and barley?
Oh, eek.
I mean, it's valid that you're disappointed.
Yeah, I definitely think so. I mean, it's hard, right? Because like when somebody's getting married, it's their day and, you know, they should be allowed to have the most magical day that, you know, they want. Mm-hmm. At the same time, you know, me as a bride, I very much wanted for me to have the most magical day. It was like really important that my guests had a magical time. You know, like that was something that was important to me, is that like it was a fun party and that everyone was happy and safe. So I don't know if she doesn't understand the concern and feel that way as well. I don't know that you can change someone's mind. No. I mean, I assume, even if kids aren't generally allowed to the wedding, like we had an adults only reception, but like obviously my sister's kids came, you know? So I mean, I don't know. It's just really hard. I agree. You're allowed to be disappointing because that's very disappointing. Maybe, I don't know. If it's already booked, it's already booked, right? But like, if
I think, yeah, it's not even like a conversation. I really love that you started with like, this is her day and it's her wedding. And if a brewery is what was in budget or important to them, or maybe it was like really sentimental, like that's the way they met. We don't know the circumstances. Yeah. It's what her sister chose. And two things can be true at the same time. That is the sister's day, and so she gets to choose what she wants because it's her wedding. She's dreamed of her whole life, and this is what she wants. And at the same time, that can be true and real and fair, and it also can be true and real and fair for you to feel disappointed and maybe even a little bit hurt that like, now I have to manage this, or now maybe I can't go or my husband can't go because one of us has to stay with the 3-year-old. Yeah. I never want to be a toxic positivity person, but I don't know, like maybe the silver lining is that if you don't feel comfortable, I wouldn't. If there was something in a peanut factory, I would not be going to that party, especially if it was with a 3-year-old who touches everything. Yeah. But so if it's something where you're just like, okay, that's a hard no, that means my child can't go. Okay, whether it's like you're trading off childcare with you and your spouse, or you're just going, you can fully focus on your family and being there as her sister versus managing allergies for the night. Like look at it as like a day off. But that's like the silver lining part of it. I mean, I don't know how a child would be able to go to that, right?
No, I don't either. I don't know. I have a little bit of a different feeling.
I love it.
I think I'd be pretty upset. Like, I think I would feel really hurt by that. Mm-hmm. And like, yeah, I get it. It's your day, but like, it's also, I don't know, like it's also your sister. Yeah. And it's like, don't you want her and your nephew or niece at the wedding? Like, I don't, maybe she just doesn't understand how severe it is, or you haven't articulated how hard this might be. And maybe that should have happened before decisions were made. Like, I don't know. I think it would be very hurtful to be on her side of things. Like if my sister, had chosen like a peanut factory for her wedding, like what a slap in the face I would have felt. Mm-hmm. And I just can't ever dream that my sister would have done that, you know? So I don't know that there's a solution other than to just say like, yeah, I feel you. That's disappointing and hurtful.
I guess. Yeah. I totally see that perspective too. Like I guess as somebody who doesn't have kids, but I do have the allergy, and I do go to a lot of weddings where I can't eat, or maybe I'm not going to be comfortable at that part of the whatever. Like but
it's not just not eating. It's literally existing at the wedding.
No, totally. For example, there's going to be a family wedding situation in my own life where it's at a place that cooks the food over pecan shells. Yeah. And so now pecan shells are roasting in the air. And so I get it. Like I'm going to have to be dealing with that too. And I'm probably going to be on edge, and I'm probably going to want to be outside, and I may want to leave early. Yeah. But like at the end of the day, it's just, maybe it's my whole life of dealing with it where I'm just like, it's not about me. And if I have to sit it out, I'm going to be sad and disappointed. But
yeah, I see that.
It's about them. It's not my wedding. At my wedding, I'm going to have it at some place that maybe you don't, you know?
Yeah.
I don't know. It's tough. It's so tough.
It's tricky. But as with all allergy things, you know, they're all tricky.
But I mean, like her direct question was, how do I deal with the disappointment? I think you just are really disappointed and you're really sad. And hopefully you have the sort of relationship with your sister where you can be like, I want the whole world for you because I love you. And if you want this, then I'm glad that that's what you're getting. But like, this is hurtful and I am disappointed. Yeah. Like call a spade a spade. But I'm sorry. That's disappointing.
It sucks.
Okay.
Question 2.
Yeah.
How do you teach food allergy kids to embrace their differences? Actually, I think Levi answered that like pretty amazingly. So I won't harp on it here, but, I would say, with Graham, at least, again, with Ethan, right now it's just kind of basic education stuff because he's little, but with Graham being in first grade now and noticing that he's different, I think I just try to make sure that he knows that it's not all of who he is. And I think you've helped me a lot with that too, like to show him that, like, yes, this is a part of him that he has to manage and deal with, but like it is not him as a whole, you know, like there's so many more amazing things about him. And again, telling him like, hey, like you're learning so much, you know how to take care of your body, like really empowering him to know that like he's so strong, especially through treatment. I'm like always telling him like, gosh, buddy, I'm so proud of you, you know, like I can't believe that you know, ate that food so fast, and I know you didn't really like it, but I know that you know that we need to do it. So I'm so proud of how, you know, strong of a guy you are, or how, you know, you can push through those hard moments. That's pretty amazing, huh? And I make sure that like, it's not just, hey, I'm proud of you, but like, you should be proud of yourself because you're an amazing little guy.
I love that so much. Like, you know, when you like do a sports competition or you bring home a good grade, I would know my parents were going to treat that as like, we are so proud of you. Like this took a lot and you did it, and it was hard and there were ups and there were downs, but like you did it, look.
Right. You worked very hard.
I think the food things like, oh, it's just food, or, oh, it's just eating a meal out to most people, but to them, like that's the big end of season game and they scored the winning goal. So treat it with that amount of gravity and that amount of pride and that amount of just like teaching them that they overcame and they handled themselves beautifully. I've talked about this in the past before, but something that seemed to really, I never really felt, I don't recall feeling othered as a small child, like grade school, even middle school. It was like, I never remember birthdays in the classrooms being anything but positive because I had like my special box of treats and everybody wanted it. Like it was special. It wasn't other. Yeah. So I don't know, that languaging personally worked for me and the whole class, like they were like, we want this special box. So but you got it. I'm sure just even that you're asking this question shows me like,
no doubt,
you're probably doing all of these things already.
Absolutely. But it is hard. It's hard to know what to do as a parent. Like, oh God, am I screwing my kid up, or like, are they going to be okay? But I think they'll be all right. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. Well,
what a fun episode.
Let's au revoir. Yeah.
I need to learn more French. I think that's what I've learned too.
I literally only know like 4 words, but I think I've used half of them. Me. Thanks so much for listening. Yes. Follow Levi, enjoy her content.
Thank you to our sponsors.
Thank you to our sponsors. And I don't know about you, but I can't wait to go home and like journal and really like meditate on some of the things that she said.
Oh yeah. No, and like I said, I'm excited to show that little clippy to Graham.
She taught me so much. I need to have another cry. Okay, that's all before I tear up again.
Yes, thank you for being here, and we'll see you next week.
See you next week.